We see them in the chaos of a crisis, in the tension of a confrontation, in the overwhelming noise of modern life, the ones who remain unnervingly, almost supernaturally calm. We often write them off as being born different, as having some genetic lottery ticket for serenity. But what if I told you that their calm isn't a gift they were given, but a fortress they built, often from the rubble of their own past suffering? And what if, within the next minutes, you will discover that this profound calm is not about suppressing your emotions, but about accessing a hidden psychological architecture of control that you can learn to build for yourself? Let's shatter the first illusion right now. The calm person you admire is not an emotionless robot. In fact, they feel everything, often more deeply than you can imagine. The difference is not in what they feel, but in what they do with it. Imagine a young boy, around 10 years old, coming home from school. The moment he opens the front door, he feels it. A thick, heavy silence, the kind that feels like a physical weight on your chest. He knows this silence. It means his parents are in the middle of one of their cold wars, where the air in the house is so sharp it could cut you. His instinct is to panic, to cry, to scream for things to be normal. But he has learned, through brutal repetition, that this doesn't work. So he does something else. He becomes a quiet observer. He notices the precise angle of his mother's turned back at the kitchen sink. He analyzes the specific tightness in his father's jaw as he pretends to read the paper. He retreats to his room and begins to map the emotional battlefield of his own home. In that moment, he is not a child, he is a strategist of survival. He is learning, through sheer necessity, to detach his internal state from the external chaos. This is the origin story for so many of the unshakably calm people you meet. Their calm was forged in the fires of unpredictability and trauma. It is a learned defense mechanism, honed to a razor's edge in environments where emotional volatility was a threat. This is the first and perhaps darkest secret. What looks like peace is often a highly refined form of control, born from a past where there was none. Psychology has a term for this powerful skill. It's called emotional regulation, and it's rooted in the prefrontal cortex, the logical CEO of your brain. When you face a stressor, a critical boss, a sudden bill, a personal conflict, your amygdala, the ancient alarm bell in your brain, screams, "Danger!" It floods your system with cortisol and adrenaline, hijacking your body and mind. This is the fight, flight, or freeze response. For most people, this hijacking is total. They react, they snap, they panic, they become overwhelmed. But the calm person has a stronger, more active prefrontal cortex. It's like a seasoned general who, when the alarm bells ring, doesn't panic, but calmly assesses the situation and issues strategic orders. A landmark study from Stanford University found that individuals who exhibit high levels of calm under pressure aren't devoid of a stress response. Instead, they have what researchers call stress resilience. Their brains are better at regulating the amygdala's panic signal. They can observe the rising panic without being consumed by it. This isn't magic. It's a physiological difference built through repeated practice, often starting in childhood as a means of psychological survival. Their calm is a silent, internal negotiation between the screaming child and the amygdala and the composed adult in the prefrontal cortex. And the adult is always in charge.
This leads us to the second and most crucial psychological pillar of the calm, a radical shift from emotional reactivity to cognitive observation. The calm person has mastered the art of becoming a witness to their own experience. Let me give you a story that will make this clear. Picture a woman, let's call her Sarah, driving to an important job interview, one that could change her life. She's prepared, she's qualified, she's on time. And then, out of nowhere, a car swerves into her lane, forcing her to slam on her brakes. There's a sickening crunch of metal and plastic. Her car is wrecked. The other driver jumps out, already screaming, red-faced, pointing fingers. The cortisol flood is instantaneous for Sarah. Her heart is a jackhammer. Her thoughts are a frantic spiral. My interview, the cost, this is a disaster. This idiot ruined everything. This is the reactive mind. Now watch what the calm mind does. In that same scenario, a calm individual would experience the exact same physiological jolt. The heart still pounds, the adrenaline still surges. But then, something critical happens. A mental switch flips. Instead of being the panic, they step back and observe the panic. The internal monologue changes. It becomes, my body is having a stress response. My heart rate is elevated. My thoughts are catastrophizing. That man is shouting. This is a situation that requires action. Do you see the profound difference? The first is a drowning person being pulled under by the wave. The second is a lifeguard standing on the shore, watching the wave and deciding the best way to enter the water. This is known as metacognition, the ability to think about your own thinking. It creates a tiny, powerful gap between the stimulus and your response. And in that gap lies your freedom. The calm person lives in that gap. They don't get possessed by their emotions, they host them, they study them, and they decide, with intention, what to do with them. This ability to observe is tied to a fascinating psychological concept called the locus of control. People with an external locus of control believe that their lives are dictated by outside forces, fate, luck, other people's actions. The driver who ruined their day, the boss who is always unfair. This mindset is a recipe for perpetual anxiety and reactivity because you are always at the mercy of events you can't command. But the consistently calm person almost always has a strong internal locus of control. They believe at their core that their response is the ultimate determinant of their reality. The car crash is an external event. The interview might be missed, but their inner state, their calm, their focus, their next logical step, that is their sovereign territory. They understand a fundamental, darkly beautiful truth. You cannot control the world, but you can always control your relationship to it. This is the core of the black pill serenity. It's not a naive optimism that everything will be okay. It's a stark, powerful acceptance that things might not be okay. And the only thing you truly own is your own composure in the face of that reality. This is the unshakable foundation. This is what makes them reliable in a crisis, inspiring in their quiet strength, and curiously detached from the drama that consumes everyone else. But how does this look in the messy reality of human relationships? Let's dive into a story of social friction. Imagine a team meeting at work. A project you've poured your soul into is being publicly torn apart by a cynical, aggressive colleague. Every instinct in your body screams to defend yourself, to fight back, to match their aggression with your own. You feel the heat rising to your face. The shock of the unfair criticism hits you like a physical blow. This is where the calm person performs a kind of psychological jujitsu. They don't meet the force head-on, they redirect it. While you are getting hooked by the emotion, they are analyzing the data. Their internal process is a series of cold, logical questions. What is the factual core of this criticism, stripped of its emotional delivery? What is this person's underlying insecurity or goal? Is this about the project, or is it about their need to dominate? They might even nod slowly, maintaining steady eye contact, and say in a measured tone, "I hear your passion on this. Let's isolate the specific functional concerns you have so we can address them logically." This response is devastatingly effective because it refuses to play the emotional game. It transmutes the chaotic energy of an attack into the structured energy of a problem-solving session. The calm person knows that reacting with equal emotion is a form of surrender. It means you have been psychologically captured. By remaining calm, they retain all the power. They become the unflappable center of the room, and in doing so, they expose the aggressor's instability. This is not passive, it is profoundly active. It is the application of a quiet, relentless intellect to the messy domain of human conflict. It's a skill that makes people not only calm, but incredibly potent.
Now, you might be thinking that this sounds exhausting, that it requires superhuman willpower. And you'd be partially right. It is a discipline, but it is also supported by a hidden world of automatic physiological processes. The calm person's nervous system is literally different. They have often, through years of conscious practice or unconscious adaptation, trained their vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is the commander-in-chief of your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system that counteracts the fight or flight response. When you stimulate your vagus nerve, you send a direct biological command to your body. Stand down. The threat is over. How is this done? Through what seem like tiny, almost insignificant behaviors. The calm person, when feeling the first flicker of anger in an argument, will often take a slow, deep breath, focusing on a long exhale. This is not a cliché. It is a direct biological hack. Deep, diaphragmatic breathing with an extended exhale is one of the most powerful ways to stimulate the vagus nerve and slam the brakes on the stress response. They might take a slow sip of cold water, feeling the sensation travel down their throat. They might press their feet firmly into the floor, grounding themselves in a physical sensation. These are micro-interventions that prevent the emotional cascade from becoming a flood. They are the emergency protocols running in the background of a calm person's mind, keeping the system stable. This is the beautiful marriage of psychology and physiology. The cognitive decision to observe creates the space for the physiological action that enforces the calm. We've begun to pull back the curtain on the quietest, most powerful people in the room. We've seen how their calm is a fortress built from the bricks of past trauma, governed by a logical prefrontal cortex and maintained through the radical practice of self-observation. We've uncovered the psychological leverage of an internal locus of control and the biological hacks of the vagus nerve. You now understand that their serenity is not a lack of feeling, but a profound mastery of it. But this is only the surface, because to truly build this fortress for yourself, you must confront what lies in the shadows. What are the specific, almost ritualistic mental frameworks they use to dismantle anxiety before it takes hold? How do they handle the one thing that breaks almost everyone? The shock of betrayal, the deep personal wounds that make calm feel impossible. Now, we will descend into the darkest and most transformative layer of this psychology. We will explore the cognitive skeletons in their closet, the stoic secrets they use to reframe reality itself, and the precise step-by-step process for building your own unshakable calm from the ground up, even if your past has been a hurricane of chaos. This is where we move from understanding their power to claiming it for yourself.
Let's begin with the single greatest tool in the arsenal of the calm. A practice so simple, yet so profound it borders on the magical. It's called cognitive reframing, and it is the deliberate act of changing the narrative you tell yourself about any given event. Your brain is a meaning-making machine, but most people are on autopilot, accepting the first, most catastrophic story it produces. The calm person is the editor-in-chief of that story. Let me show you how dark and powerful this can get. Imagine a man, let's call him Leo, who gets laid off from his job. The initial automatic story his brain screams is one of total failure. I'm not good enough. My career is over. I've let my family down. This is a catastrophe. This narrative triggers a tidal wave of panic, shame, and despair. Now, watch a calm person in that identical situation. After acknowledging the initial shock, they would consciously, deliberately sit down and rewrite the story. They would interrogate the evidence like a scientist and a prosecutor combined. The new narrative might sound something like this. This was a strategic decision by the company based on revenue, not a reflection of my personal worth. My career is not a single job. It is my skills, my experience, and my resilience. This is not a catastrophe. It is a forced redirection. It is an ending, but also a brutal and necessary beginning I was too comfortable to choose for myself. Do you feel the seismic shift in energy? The first story creates a victim. The second creates a survivor, an agent of their own life. This isn't positive thinking. This is accurate thinking. It's about stripping away the emotional hysterics and looking at the cold, hard facts of the situation. The calm person understands a fundamental truth. There is no such thing as a truly traumatic event, only a traumatic interpretation of an event. By reframing the narrative, they are not denying reality. They are choosing the most empowering version of it. They are, in essence, performing psychological alchemy, turning the lead of despair into the gold of opportunity. This practice is rooted in the ancient philosophy of Stoicism, which is the unofficial operating system for nearly every consistently calm person you will ever meet. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, weren't naive optimists. They were realists who trained for the worst. Their central, game-changing strategy was a mental exercise known as premeditatio malorum, which translates to the premeditation of evils. It sounds dark, and it is. It's the deliberate practice of visualizing the worst-case scenario in vivid, gruesome detail. Why would anyone do this? Because the average mind is terrified of the unknown. We have a vague, haunting fear of losing our job, our partner leaving, a family member getting sick. This vague fear is a ghost that possesses us, creating a low-grade, constant anxiety. The calm person, however, hunts that ghost. They bring it into the light. Let's say you have a deep-seated fear of public humiliation. A calm person wouldn't just try to suppress that fear. They would schedule time to sit with it. They would close their eyes and mentally play out the entire horror movie, walking on stage, forgetting every word of your speech, the silence of the audience turning into muffled laughter, the sweat soaking through your shirt, the feeling of your face burning with shame, the long, quiet walk of shame off the stage. They would feel the emotional agony of it fully and completely, and then they would ask the critical question, and then what? You survive. The world doesn't end. You go home. You feel awful for a day, a week, maybe a month, but you are still breathing. You are still you. By mentally rehearsing the worst, you accomplish two things. First, you rob the fear of its power. The monster in the shadows, when brought into the light, is often just a mouse. The event loses its terrifying abstract quality and becomes a manageable, concrete scenario. Second, and more importantly, you begin to subconsciously prepare a plan. Having visualized the failure, your mind starts working on solutions, on backup plans, on ways to mitigate the damage. This is the ultimate black pill psychology. It's not about hoping for the best, it's about preparing for the worst, and in doing so, realizing that you can endure it. This practice builds a bedrock of confidence that is completely unshakable because it is not based on everything going right, but on your ability to handle things when they go horribly, terribly wrong.
Now let's apply this to the arena where calm is most difficult to maintain: relationships and betrayal. This is where the theory meets the heart, and where most self-help falls apart. How does a calm person handle the shock of a partner's infidelity or a best friend's devastating betrayal? They don't avoid the pain. They move straight through the center of it, guided by a ruthless intellectual framework. The initial wave of emotion, the shock, the grief, the rage, is allowed to wash over them. They don't resist it, they observe it, as we discussed before. But then the reframing engine kicks in.
The narrative of "my life is over, I trusted them, they were my everything," is systematically dismantled. It is replaced with a colder, harder, and ultimately more freeing analysis. They ask, what does this event reveal about this person's character that I chose to ignore? What need or lack within me made me vulnerable to this dynamic? What is the unvarnished truth about the relationship that I was romanticizing? This is not about self-blame. It is about reclaiming power through radical honesty. The calm person understands that betrayal is not a random asteroid strike. It is data. It is the most brutal and honest feedback you will ever receive about another person's integrity and your own discernment. The pain is the cost of the lesson. By focusing on the data, on the lesson, they slowly transfer their energy from the person who betrayed them back to themselves. Their internal monologue shifts from "how could they do this to me?" to "what will I now do for myself?" This is the moment of ultimate inspiration, born from the deepest pain. Their calm in the face of heartbreak is not a lack of feeling. It is the presence of a profound self-respect that is louder than the grief. They are prioritizing their own long-term peace over the short-term drama of revenge or despair. They are building a new story, one where they are the resilient hero, not the perpetual victim. This ability to process deep emotional wounds is tied to another psychological superpower: high distress tolerance. Most people have a very low threshold for emotional discomfort. The moment they feel the ache of loneliness, the pang of anxiety, the heat of anger, they scramble to numb it with their phone, with food, with substances, with frantic activity. The calm person has done the opposite. They have built a massive container within themselves to hold these difficult feelings. They have practiced sitting in a quiet room with their own pain, not as a form of self-punishment, but as a form of exposure therapy. They understand that an emotion is just a temporary physical sensation in the body, a tightness in the chest, a churning in the stomach, a pressure in the head. By turning their attention towards the sensation with curiosity instead of running from it in fear, they discover its secret. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It peaks, it plateaus, and it passes. They realize they can survive the tsunami of a panic attack, the desolation of grief. Each time they do this, their distress tolerance grows. Their container becomes larger. They stop being terrified of their own inner world. This is the ultimate reliability you can have with yourself, the knowledge that no matter what you feel, you have the capacity to be with it, to host it, and to let it go without letting it destroy you. This is the core of emotional sovereignty.
So how do you begin to build this for yourself? It starts with micro practices that rewire your nervous system and your thought patterns. It begins with the breath, the anchor to the present moment. Whenever you feel that first flicker of reactivity, take just 3 breaths. In through your nose for a count of 4, and out through your mouth for a count of 6. Make the exhale longer than the inhale. This is your direct line to the vagus nerve, your biological calm button. Next, introduce the practice of labeling. When an emotion arises, simply name it silently in your mind. This is anger. This is anxiety. This is shame. This simple act of naming engages the prefrontal cortex and creates that critical gap of observation, pulling you out of the emotional whirlpool. Then, start your reframing practice. At the end of each day, take one event that triggered you and write down the initial catastrophic story you told yourself. Then, on the other side of the page, write a new story, one that is evidence-based, logical, and that frames you as the agent, not the victim. This is not about lying to yourself. It's about telling yourself a more complete and empowering truth.
Finally, remember the story of the fortress. Your calm is not something you find. It is something you build, brick by brick. The bricks are the conscious breaths in moments of stress. They are the reframed stories in the face of failure. They are the moments you choose to sit with your discomfort instead of running from it. They are the premeditation of your fears, robbing them of their power. This is the path of the black pill psychologist. It is a path of stark self-honesty, of radical self-reliance, and of a quiet, unassailable power that no external event can ever take from you. You will not become a different person. You will become a more powerful version of the person you already are. You will stop being a leaf blown by the wind of circumstance and become the tree that stands firm, with roots sunk deep into the unshakable soil of your own composed mind. Your calm will cease to be a goal and will become your home,